top agent panel. I will definitely send this out to all you guys. I've got a series of questions that I send out to you guys, so I'm just going to ask you guys individually and kind of go through and kind of get your feedback on how you guys have been operating business and what you guys are planning on going forward. So first and foremost, if you guys can just first, Fred, why don't you tell me a little bit about how long have you been in the business and what is your production volume of the year?
Nice. So my name is Fred Said. We run multiple teams: Keller Williams, Irvine, Keller Williams, Northridge, and the San Fernando Valley. And we have agents in Keller Williams, Yorba Linda, Anaheim Hills as well. I'm part of the Ben Kinney team, Place Network, throughout the nation. I've done this since 2004. And so started when I was 20. I'm 37 now. Family's done this for 80 years. And long story short, this year we will, I have my notes here, closing pending 2020 as of November 15th. We're at 112 units, 56.2 million in volume, and 1.3 in GCI. So
you're kind of a new agent to this.
Yes.
Yes. What about you? What about
veteran in the game for sure?
I was going to say, what about you, Jordan?
How many units? That's impressive. How many units? Sorry.
112.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about you, Jordan. So what's your, how long have you been in the business, and what is your production volume for the year?
Well, I've been in the business for only 3 years. So the reason behind this meeting is I wanted to really uplift and inspire the new agents to let them know that it's possible. You know, anything is possible. As of this year, me and my team, so I started a team last year on my year 2. So we're repeating about the same numbers. We're going to do about 60 units, 50 million in volume. Last year, my GCI was about 990, right? So this year, it's going to be about the same based on our third quarter, fourth quarter. Yeah.
That is awesome. 3 years in the business and you're at that level.
Fantastic.
I'm excited to ask the next few questions to get
Beautiful.
this. You know, what's really cool about these, these panels too is the way everybody does their business. We all do it differently, right? And it's going to be really cool to see how each one of you guys do it. So what about you, Cheryl? What's your how long have you been in the business, and what's your production volume for the year?
Well, I've dabbled in real estate since college. I took a class in college that was real estate, and I was on the East Coast, and then you take the class and you get your license. But I had some really great jobs, so I didn't feel the need to go full-time into real estate till I got out to California. So it's been 17 years, I think, full-time. And this is my best year. And, I've had big teams, small teams. I've tried everything in the team. And it's just, in fact, I want to hear from Fred about being on the Ben Kinney team. That's got to be amazing. But this year we did 42 units and just under 40 million. GCI just
Beautiful.
$1 million, which was very cool. My company dollars are 612,000, so that's really nice, But it was mostly just me and one other agent. So I'm still trying to understand the team. I mean, I have 4 other agents that each did one unit, and another agent that did about 3. So you kind of wonder, is it good to have a team, or should you just have one strong agent? So I'm still trying to learn that part of it.
Well, that's cool. So let's go back up to Fred. Hey, where does your business come from? I mean, obviously from when you started to now, I'm sure it's changed, but let's just jump really quickly. When you first started in the business, right? I mean, what was your main focus for business? And then where are you getting your business today?
So I got in when I was 20 years old, March of 2004. I got in and it was easy because it was before the crash. Market crashed. I got out and then I got back in full time April of 2008, right? So I've really been full time for 11 or 12 years. And I started with my database, and back in the day, back in 2008, 9, and 10, it was really online marketing. Not Zillow, none of those lead. I was actually doing SEO and blogging and Craigslist. So I was generating organic leads with multiple websites because I was building, WordPress and all that fun stuff. It's kind of my background. But after that, I just built it up, and then a lot of past clients in Spear, but what I can tell you is, I'm thinking about the past 5 or 6 years, but I can tell you year to date our percentages of our lead pillars that we have. So far, the business that I gave you guys, 24% came from our Spear so far year to date. And that Spear is friends and family, like people directly that we know that actually bought and sold with us, right? Number two, 17% came from our past clients, so repeat past clients that bought and sold with us again. 12% came from open houses. And the cool thing is that we haven't done open houses since March, but we still did, I think, 13 or 14 closed units off open houses from previous year open house leads. And I'll tell you guys later if you guys want to know what our lead gen model is for our organization. 10% came by way of referrals. We get a lot of agent referrals inbound because of obviously our network. 10% came from online, and then 8% came from prospecting outbound. We do a lot of circle prospecting every day. And then 19% is like kind of left over. So we're about a 42, 43% is database based, Spear, past client, repeat. Then our next big pillar is probably a combination of open house, referrals, and online.
Awesome. What about you, Jordan? I mean, ask the same question. Like, obviously, you being in the business for 3 years. I mean, when you jumped in the first year, where did you get your business, and did it change now that you're 3 years into it, doing the type of units you're doing? Where's your business coming from?
Well, first off, like, man, Fred and Cheryl just blows my mind. Like, their volume is the same, but unit count is different, and the structure behind it is different. I'm a startup. I'm new to the industry.
I'll take a million startup all day long, bro. In 3 years, are you kidding me? In revenue,
100%, absolutely.
Of course, I don't tell clients I'm new. I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
With clients.
Yeah.
Well, with that unit count, you are a veteran in all reality. When you're doing those kind of transactions, I mean, trust me, your experience level is probably way higher than 3/4 of the agents out there that have been in the business for 10 years. So.
Sure. I don't base it on years. I base it on units. You'll have someone that says, "Oh, I've been a realtor for 30 years," and then you're like, "But how many homes have you sold? 10?" So it really is experience, because every single deal is different.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
I'm
still learning.
Well, we all are.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, it's like we've all been in the business for a long time, and I learn every day. If we're not learning, we're dying, and that's really the way I look at it. So if we're not striving to learn more as we go forward, then we just need to get out of the business now. I mean, because life, chaos changes, and our industry changes like at a whim. So we always got to be learning for sure. But so again, going back to the question, so where do you get most of your business?
When I started, I did a lot of door knocking. I would door knock from 12 to like 6 o'clock, right? And my biggest thing was inviting people to open houses, because it's a better script to approach the sellers. I would also door knock expired, right? Door knocking expired was a big thing. And just basically 3 things: open house, expired, and I bought some online leads. So that first year, I managed to do 18 deals, about 13 million in volume. And that was just pure, just door knocking, open house, and some online leads that I bought for. And moving on forward till this day, so there's no more open houses this year. So I've been getting into my referrals, right? Whether it's a past client or it's a Spear, I'm just looking for. And of course, expired is still my heavy forte. And the third one would be Zillow, right? Zillow platform. I'm trying to exit out of the Zillow platform. It is a double-edged sword. It's a lot of veteran agents tell me, like, be careful with that, because you spend a lot of money to get a lot of business, but you got to be careful. So
I agree. What about you, Cheryl? Like, so obviously when you got in the business, and then versus now, I'm sure it's kind of changed, but like, what was the first thing that you hit when you first started the business, and then where are you getting most of your business now?
I door knocked FSBOs, and I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore, because you'd have to go to a FSBO like 5 to 6 times before you'd finally talk them into listing. I door knocked expired. I would get into gated communities and door knock, because I figured there was no competition. So I'd sit by the gate and wait for it to open and go in and knock on the door. Very bold. Back then I'd show up to listings with the sold sign and just walk in the door with my sold sign. So but you know, it was to break into the business. You had to think outside of the box and just do very bold things. Now the last 3 years and this year as well, it's past clients. And when I moved here, I had no sphere of influence. I knew nobody in California. So I'm very proud that I have so many repeat clients now. But past clients, networking, I've always been a big networker in networking groups, especially when you don't know anybody. You know, you got to join these groups and build that sphere of influence. And Zillow, I love Zillow. I mean, the training we get from Zillow is excellent. I've always made a ton of money on it. I'm careful what I spend, but I also have the lenders chip in. I have partners, and I learned that from Gary. So my expenses over the last actually since I joined Keller Williams, my expenses have gone down because I learned from Gary to get partners that help you with your expenses. So my bank account's gone up as my expenses have gone down. And but it's been the same thing, 4 years in a row, and a lot more Zillow this year. We couldn't do open houses, we couldn't do our door knocking, so we really had to hit the internet really hard. And I think that's probably your next question on shifting. I embraced change. I had a phenomenal year during the crash because a lot of your competition just quits, which I love. And you immediately have to start thinking, okay, what am I going to do now that I can't do open houses, I can't door knock? You know, what else works? And I'm just going to have to do that 10 times more. And that's how we made it through this year and ended up having our best year ever, which I still am pinching myself. So.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good year, I think, for probably all of us, including myself. And I don't even focus on, you know, production as a team leader, right? I focus on you guys as agents. And so I still have probably done more deals from just flow, I guess you could say, than what I have done in the years past. So, I mean, it's definitely a good year if you're active, you know, and that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah,
so,
a lot of people just quit this year. I was shocked at how many people came to me and said, well, I made all my business on open houses, so I'm just not going to sell real estate this year. And that's why you need so many avenues, not just one. That's a perfect example. If all your business was open houses and now you can't do open houses, who thought that day would come and your business dies? So that's why you need, I mean, I look for every avenue, and we do it all. We door knock, we cold call, we internet, we network, we hit our past clients, you know, do everything you can so that if one or two things goes away, you've still got those other ones that you're good at.
Right. Now, I mean, obviously, you know, 2020 is something that we would definitely want to put in the past overall, just because of everything that's been going on. But if we were to look back and we say, you know, from 2019 to 2020, obviously because of COVID, what's the one thing that you had to definitely shift in your marketing or in your lead generation that you had to do this year that you didn't have to do last year? What would you say, Fred?
So when the lockdown happened, what was it, like mid-March, whenever that was, the dynamic that we had, some of you guys know who my partner is. Some of you don't. His name is Ben Kinney. And then our other partner is Chris Suarez. We all, you know, network, and we're all partners in the Place Network and the Place Company. But the reason I'm bringing that up is about February or so, we as the partners, about 50 of us throughout the nation, saw something coming. Ben saw kind of the writing on the wall about 30 to 45 days before, and he automatically started to shift our businesses and coach us around expense management. So we automatically started to make sure we're leading with revenue, and we're looking at our personal and our business expenses. But I think the advice that I would give to anybody today is that should be the case no matter the market shifting well or not. We should be looking at our finances at least once a month, business and personal. We should be leading with profit and leading with revenue, and that should be our goal, is what do we want to profit as individual or team agents, right? And I think the next thing we did is we got back to the basics. So our lead gen model is pretty simple, right? We have a specific model with our agents that join our organization that we work our sphere systematically and very heavily in the beginning. Number two, our agents do 2 open houses a week. That's kind of a standard in our team. And number three, our agents do 150 dials a day at minimum in our organization, right? So obviously with what everybody talked about, open houses dropped, and that was a big source for us, right? So we had to pick up the prospecting, pick up our spear, look at different ways that we can continue to generate leads. So the one thing we did do very consistently over the past 6 or 7 months, 8 months, as long as this has been, is we've been very particular about our activity every single day, right? So our agents have to do 750 dials a week. In an ideal situation, they have to contact their spear consistently, and they have to make at least 50 follow-up calls in our CRM every single week. We use Brivity. Ben owns Brivity, so we have our own CRM that we use. But we have to do 50 outbound dials weekly in our CRM, which is all lead follow-up. So new business, outbound prospect, circle prospect, FSBO expires, etc., and then follow up with at least 50 people a week in that database, right? And by doing that, I mean, our average per agent productivity is about 13.2 units right now annually, which is good. We want to pick that up, right? But we want to keep that growing into 2021. So systems, basically, expense management and activity.
Yeah, and that average is actually pretty good in relative speaking, right? I mean, again, it's, you look at all agents and you look at even the top 20%, even sometimes the top 20% are doing less than 12 deals a year. So you know, to do a 13, I mean, that's still not a bad income in all reality. So that's pretty good. What about you, Jordan? So if you're to look at it and, you know, between obviously you starting and then second year into it, all of a sudden COVID hits, what did you have to do to really change the dynamics in order to continue to produce?
Well, during the pandemic, there was a lot of shift that happened. So last year I had 3 agents, right? 2 of the agents decided to not work anymore because they live with their grandparents, right? So they didn't want to get them sick. And those 3 agents, they did 10 units each. So that came out to 30. And I did the other 30 last year. So that's how we did 60 units. Basically, you know, that's 20 units that just fell off. So it's just me and one other partner. And I'm a big open house guy too. Door knocking for open house, going open houses, looking for sellers. So that was out of the picture. And I just got into my referral database. Like all of my past clients, my family and friends, I would just call them. And I love how detailed Fred is, like the outbound called 50 follow-ups. I love the detailedness, because for me, what I preach to my team is just have 10 conversations a day, right? It can be a follow-up, it could be a new lead, it could be FSBO, expired, whatever, but just have 10 genuine conversations where you actually care. And once you do 10, go do 20. And once you do 20, do 30, right? But have genuine, slow conversations where you care about the other person. And yeah, so right now we just have that one agent, and the second agent did come back. He's picking up his pace, he's at, I think he has like 6 escrows right now. So hopefully he finishes off 10. My number is the same as last year's. So thank God. I'm at about 24 mil year to date. And last year I finished at 30 mil. So it's really good. You know, especially I moved to Irvine too. So I'm really familiar with what Fred said. He's a big time in Irvine. Mm-hmm. I moved from Diamond Bar to Irvine, and that's a huge shift for me too, because I grew up in Diamond Bar. That's my bread and butter, you know, and just moving to another market center, not knowing. Fred, did you know there's so much little names in Irvine, like Shady Canyon, Orchard Hills, College Park?
I'm really fearful when this guy actually knows what he's doing. What's gonna happen?
Thanks.
Think about that.
Yeah, you
think about that, bro. This guy's gonna blow up, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna have to add him to the Ben Kinney team, that's for sure. So.
Yeah, Ben Kinney, I'm a huge fan. You know, I have a lot of great leaders like Scotty Cotto right there, Derek Oy, Mike Chow, you know, like Jay from the Case team.
That's awesome.
So many great leaders, and I'm always a student of the game. So
that's where it's at.
You know, another thing I tell everyone, just always remember the 4 Ps, right? Always be positive, no matter what's going on, right? Always be positive and be present. Be present in the state of mind. You're always thinking about the past, the future. Who cares? Just be present. And in the business, be persistent, and be patient, right? I think those 4 Ps I always go back to. And yeah, my biggest shift was just, I always focus on 3 lead generating sources, and it was, I switched out open houses to referrals, and that was a really good thing, right? But of course, when open house comes back, I'm gonna be back at door knocking 2-3 hours a day looking for sellers. Referrals, now, 2020 referrals is a big one. Of course, expireds is a big one, and Zillow leads. Zillow leads it's really good, depending on, yeah, it's good. You just have to convert them.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate that. What about you, Cheryl? So again, obviously 2020 hits, and what did you have to do to kind of change the way you do business?
Just using the internet more. But this year we had a lot of business coming in, which was nice. Past clients calling, people calling out of the blue that my dad used you 10 years ago and he, remembered you. People that came out of the woodwork. I had a guy that said, I met you, Chase used to have realtor days. I met you at Chase 7 years ago, and I've been getting your emails, and I never deleted them because I knew one day I would need you. And now I need to sell my mom's house and buy her another house. And that, that was 2 deals this year from someone from 7 years ago. So just the database, feed the database every day. I do. I still to this day feed the database, keep, putting stuff out there to be in front of them. And you don't know. The crazy thing is, I have 40,000 in my database, so I don't know who's all in there. But when they pop out, I had another guy this year that I met him 3 years ago. He wouldn't give me his name. He only gave me his email address. I threw him in. He called me this year to list his house. And he's like, you probably don't remember me. And I did, because he asked me about flood insurance. And I said, well, give me your email address. If you won't give me your name, at least I can keep in touch. And I did. And then this year he called about listing his house. So, you just keep feeding the database and hit it hard. And when all else fails, I think that's always been my number one thing, even before real estate. I've always had a database. And I know Gary preaches the database. He's absolutely right. He did every day.
Yeah, referrals are definitely key. So I think that's awesome. So now, what's interesting is and even Jordan may hit a plateau. So my next question, Fred, this will go towards you, of course, everybody. But so did you, during your career, have you ever hit a plateau?
I'd say probably every 90 days.
You hit a plateau every 90 days?
Yeah, and I'm not being sarcastic. There's some sort of small plateau, and I call it a glass ceiling. MREA calls it a glass ceiling, right? But I've had some major ones in my career. When I started building a team, I only joined Keller Williams. So I joined Keller Williams basically the end of 2013 as a single agent. So I was only doing 12 units a year, 5 million in volume, and about 100 in GCI from 2008 to 2013. 5 years in a row, 12 deals a year, 5 million, 100 grand. That's it. So that was a plateau in itself. And I was working harder and harder, but I realized, hey, I wanted to be a leader. I want to build an organization. I knew KW was a place that had the model to build an infrastructure, which is MREA. So then I joined KW Irvine. The owner at that point, the OP, was Chris Heller, who was Build Worldwide, CEO of KW, and a mentor of mine. To this day, is a friend of mine, and his wife's actually my coach to this day, right? And what he taught me was just shut up, come over here. I'm going to mentor you. Our TL, who's now our OP, Dan, mentored me. And all I did was follow the MREA about 75% of the way. So I took it from, in 5 years, I took it from, 12 units to 120 units, 100 in GCI to 1.2, yada, yada, yada. And the only reason we grew tenfold in 5 years was because I kept hitting those plateaus that you guys are talking about. And every time I hit a plateau, I just realized, what was the plateau? Was it hiring? Was it lack of activity? Was it lack of database, like Cheryl talked about so well a second ago, right? Was it expense management? Why am I losing money every month in this segment of time when I'm bringing in 100 in GCI a month? Like, what's wrong here? I've had everything you can imagine. but it's all the mindset of it's glass. You can break through. You have to take a step back, right? Course correct, realize the gaps that you're in, and then put activity towards it. And I'll end with this. I think the one thing that made the biggest difference to your question that you just asked, Eric, was a mentor of mine once when I joined Keller Williams 6 years ago, said the following quote that just completely changed my life. Part of the reason why I, was doing the same units for 5 consecutive years as a single agent and not breaking through, I was going to coaching. I was going to Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry. I mean, I was buying everything under the sun. I'm like, I'm going to learn it. But I'm like, why is nothing changing? And then I heard this quote the week that I joined KW in November of 2013. I went to, at that point, it was called Recruit Select, which is now Career Visioning. And this guy said this quote. He said, knowledge that's implemented equals wisdom. Knowledge that is implemented equals wisdom. So knowledge that is implemented equals wisdom. So I was never implementing what I was learning. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, idiot, just freaking implement. And then all I did was implement. Chris told me to do this. MRI told me to do this. Gary said do this. Ben said do this. I did it. And then what happened? It grew. It got better. So that, in a nutshell, is your answer, my friend, to your question.
I love it. Actually, it's funny that you say that, because for those that are obviously going to be watching this video or whatever, the EMREA is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, for those that don't know our lingo for Keller Williams. But it's a phenomenal book, and if you guys don't have one, reach out to me and I'll try to get you one. So like I said, this is a book that we here at Keller Williams definitely leverage, read, believe, everything works. So I love that statement though, because you're right. I mean, I'm going to ask Jordan the same question than Cheryl, but what's hilarious is I've been talking about this to even my agents is we go to these events, right? Mega Camp, family reunion, and even outside agents are going to, again, Tom Ferry and all these other events. And of course we get pumped up, but what happens is, we're so pumped up, we come back to the office and all of a sudden it's business as usual, right? It's because nobody implements ideas, or nobody implements some of these things that are going to actually, because they found out, they got the knowledge, but they're not implementing. So I think that quote is like spot on. So I love that. Thanks, Fred. Hey, Jordan, so what's your thoughts? So again, I'm assuming in your 3 years, have you like hit some plateaus? And when you did, what did you do to break through it?
Yeah, I'm hitting a plateau right now. I don't want to, sounds ungrateful, but I don't want to keep selling 30 homes, $30 million. I want to be able to sell 50 homes, $50 million, 100 homes, $100 million. And you want to know something? I don't have an assistant. I'm hiring an assistant this year. I used to do all of the admin stuff on my own. So I time block it from 9 to 12 a.m. From 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Those are my admin times. And the rest of the daytime, I'm just working, right? 9 to 12, I'm lead genning. 12 to 6, I should be on appointments. All of that good stuff the MREA teaches you. My plateau that I've been coming to a conclusion is just I need leverage. I need a really good admin. So I'm not out there putting lock boxes, delivering keys, setting up listings, coordinating to close. I'm doing all of that, and it's my plateau. So that's what I'm coming to. Like, I want to be able to double my production and get to 50, 60 homes on my own, right? Of course, whatever the team brings me, I'm super thankful and I appreciate them. At the same time, I provide one-on-one meetings with them to share my insights and what I do. But yeah, my own production is very important to me because I am just starting. So I have another 10, 15 years to go before I really get my foot off the gas, right? So my foot is on the gas and I'm always looking for leverage. And my plateau right now is just hiring a leverage so I can offset a lot of the unnecessary work. So I'm always in front of clients, right? That's a key. Always be in front of belly to belly.
That'll change your life once you get that down, bro.
Yeah.
It'll change your life.
Yeah.
And it's like you said.
I'm assuming you're going to go through career visioning on your assistant, right?
What is that? Career visioning?
Career.
I'm just kidding.
I was like, I'm like, Fred, do you want to take this one over? So yeah, no, it's, you know, the reason I bring that up is I know that we all know what provisioning is. But again, a lot of people don't. They don't have the access that we have to hire the right people the first time, right? And that's why we are so driven as a company in regards to making sure we have the right fits for the right positions, for the right areas. And that's, I think, super important. So I think it's a really a value that, you know, that is brought to our teams that we can utilize. So I'm sure you'll find somebody great, and the next time we talk, you'll be doubled in production. So,
Question. So it's normal to, you know, Cheryl and Fred, it's normal to go through a couple of EAs, right? Until you find the right one.
A couple?
No? A lot?
Yeah, if your goal is, Gary says this, Cheryl knows this, I mean, as long as we've done it, right? Is that you're not gonna, if your goal is I'm gonna hire the perfect person the first time, could you get lucky? Of course, but I'd rather put luck aside and follow the system, which is career visioning and some sort of dedicated hiring process that you may have. I think the secondary recommendation I'm gonna have is I believe very passionately about the hybrid model. The hybrid, so, you know, we have in business, what do we have? We have ops, operations, and we have sales. Any business, ops, sales. So you're doing both right now, and what you have to leverage out is ops, operations. And I think that there's two different things that you're going to look for. You're going to look for, first of all, you have the revenue and the profitability to pay a reasonable salary to an in-person employee, hands down, because the average employee is going to cost you between, you know, 40 and 60 grand a year with base bonuses, benefits, et cetera, in our area. That's just what's going to run you, right? Orange County minimum, that range or so. Number two, I think that what people don't realize is that you can also work with virtual assistants, right? So the hybrid model to me, and this is kind of off topic, Eric, but I want to say it because I want Jordan to get this. I think it's really important in his career right now. And he'll blow up once he gets this, right? Like I'm talking 100 million. I'm not joking, right? Is that you'll get to a point, brother, is that you'll hire somebody in-house, and then that person will get busy. But then, so we have 2 in-house admins right now, and then each of them have their own virtual assistant. So the admins are the leaders that do a lot of the client-facing items, and then the 80% of work, uploading to command, TC work, right? Putting listings in the MLS, right? Tracking our data for our agents, inputting data in Mojo for our agents, right? Tracking their numbers, doing social media marketing for the agents, just listed flyers, whatever. All that back-end work is done by virtual assistants while our admins are doing the main focus in-house. That's what I call a hybrid model for operations. So the reason I'm bringing that up to you is you can hire an EA right now, and an EA is kind of deceptive. In the Keller Williams world, executive assistant, in the corporate world, executive assistant is not what KW says. What KW says an EA is in our language, they're doing everything for you, marketing, transaction coordination, everything. So if you're going to invest in one person from an admin standpoint, you are going to have them do everything. You're no longer going to have an independent TC, right? You're going to still have them do everything for you. That's what the model says if you want to do it that way. Or option 2 is you want to just get some stuff off your plate. You can hire a virtual assistant at $3 an hour, part-time. My favorite site that if you want to you want to write down, it's onlinejobs.ph. So if you go to onlinejobs.ph, it's basically a Philippine-based like Monsters where you can post jobs, hire people, and we have multiple virtual assistants that we work with right now that we got, and they cost $3 an hour. So that, I mean, even as simple as that, man, it's going to change your life.
That coincides with some of the things I've even done, like even with Fiverr, right? I mean, I do a lot of my design stuff through Fiverr because it's cheap and fast, right? Same concept, but yet it's still, you know, creates efficiency and effectiveness within what we're doing. And that's why it's always, you know, when you hit a plateau, you got to analyze, like what Fred said, is what's taken the most time. And I always look at it based on a $15 to $25 an hour job, right? Like if I'm doing a $15 to $25 an hour job, I might be worth $500 an hour. I might be, you know, it all depends on income, right? But if I'm worth $500 an hour and I'm doing a $25 an hour job, that doesn't make sense. So the idea is to say, well, I need somebody that's going to do the $25 an hour to free up that time, because that time is going to make me $500 an hour, right? So that's the idea behind, you know, like what Fred's saying is you look at your model and go, I need help with this. I'm going to hire out so I can continue to do this at a higher effective and efficiency rate. So, which is true. So I think there's some, you know, great things, but hope that helps, Jordan.
Yes. Thank you so much, Fred.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with you, Jordan, just because for in a short period of time of where you've taken your business, and you're humble and you're open-minded into doing it. I'm actually excited to see where your business goes. So just like what Fred said earlier, it's going to be interesting to see what Irvine looks like next year. So we'll see how that goes.
Maintain, you know, like it's just the beginning for me. So where am I going to be at in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
There's no reason if you make minor tweaks, you'll hit 100 million next year if you really wanted to.
Absolutely.
I'm not kidding. Like you can get there fairly quickly.
We're going to go to Island Burger next door.
I'm down, bro. Hit me up. I swear to God, but hit me up anytime, bro. Anytime.
Hey, don't forget to invite me. Remember, I'm right here.
No, Jordan, just you and Cheryl. No, Eric. No, Eric. Yeah.
Why do I always get picked on these? I swear to God. Yeah. All right. What about you, Cheryl? So again, you know, have you during your career, have you hit a plateau, and what did you do to break through that plateau?
So I hit it. I've always had this plateau. I don't know if it's in my mind or what, but 5 listings at a time seems to be my limit. When I get the 6th one, I tend to go a little nuts because I'm so in control. And you know, rarely do you get the slam dunk where you're not negotiating repairs or and we you know, a lot of our homes we're getting ready, we're taking fixers and basically flipping them for the client. So I'm very involved in that. My son joined us, and he has taken a lot off of me where it comes to dealing with contractors, because that can drive you insane and suck up a lot of your time. I think that the thing I'm missing though is maybe a closing department, someone that can, you know, once I have them and everything's good, someone to kind of get in there and help with the negotiate. Although I love negotiating, you know, and there's some things you love and you just don't want to give up. But I've just always, I look back in my entire career, it's you get five listings at a time, which I typically have. But if I go over that, I tend to freak out, you know, psychologically worry, oh, can I handle a 6th listing right now? Maybe I should push them out a couple weeks so I get this one closed. And so I don't know. And I've thought about looking into maybe having a closing department, someone that can get more involved and help with the actual closing, so I can step away from some of the closing process and go on to, you know, pick up those new listings.
So it almost goes back to what,
like, with myself, you know.
So it almost goes back to what Fred was saying, was you have again sales and ops, and so you got to really separate yourself and say, I just need to get ops department so I can continue to focus on sales.
But the other thing too is I look at my testimonials, and a lot of them are that closing process. I just had one, a client posted on Facebook, I didn't even ask for this, and he said it was a very emotional sale. His heart and soul was in this property. And, you know, at times, the seller I'm talking about, he just wanted to back out. He didn't want to sell it. His wife was pushing him to sell. And I had to emotionally walk him through every step, you know, and then I was like, well, this is also a business. I should get more money. And, you know, we're already in escrow. And he actually put on Facebook yesterday, she has the ability to walk your clients through the up and down emotions of selling their home. And I thought, well, if I had the closing department, they wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't have gotten this great testimonial, which brings me more business. So I'm always struggling with, you know, a lot of the referrals come from how I handled their close. So I don't know, still struggling with that. I don't know.
You have an EA right now?
I do. And my best assistant, actually was my last assistant. She outsourced so much that there was no reason to replace her. So I have a fabulous TC, but she doesn't just work for me. She works for other companies. And I have an assistant who works for me and 2 other agents, but I have found that for what I need, that covers it. And I don't have to worry about, the taxes were killing me on the full-time employees, especially last year when they changed California law. I'm like, what do I do? Give you a $20,000 raise to cover the taxes that you're now, you know? So being able to hire companies that aren't your employee, you're remotely saves you a lot of money. And if you can get those good people, and maybe the online jobs.ph, but pretty much everything's outsourced. It's just that closing. It's that one little segment I know could free up more time for me to get more business, but I struggle with who you're going to get that can do it the way I do it, and still get those great referrals and testimonials.
Yeah, I think that's a fight that we all do, right? Is to try to figure out, who's going to be the best fit, what position that's going to be, and then what are they going to do at the end, and how much time is that going to free up, and are we going to take advantage of it? So, but those are the plateaus that we have to break through if we want to continue to grow. That's for sure. So, all right. So my curious, obviously we're coming into the holidays, and I think this is going to be the big thing that I've been preaching to agents is, they've got to, I feel like we all have to step up in order to really push us through, what I always call the slower of the months out of all 12 months. So what activities are you guys doing that will keep your business going and that will also help your clients stay engaged through the holidays? Fred.
So number one, out of the MREA, we have a 33 touch program. It's a database marketing or touch program, right? So in our CRM, we have a tag called 33 touch. And it's funny, we went over this morning we have a power up every morning that we do with our agents. So 9 a.m. to 9:30, all 20 of us get on a Zoom call. We do script practice, talk about some training. But this morning I talked about this topic. So we want to make sure that number one, your database that you have, whether you use Command, anything that you use, right? You know who your database actually is. Number two, you want to segment your database. You want your core advocates that you want to have. You want them to be what we call 33 touch, which we literally touch them 33 times over email, text, etc. So the big thing that we do during this time that's above and beyond is we use BombBomb. BombBomb is like a constant contact MailChimp that's video based. I'm a huge video guy. I've been doing it for 10 years. I love video, right? So this time of the year, I'll literally pick up my phone and I'll say, hey guys, or I'll film it on Zoom and I'll say, hey, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. So we send a Happy Thanksgiving video email to our entire database for ourselves and our agents. We send a Christmas video to our agents, We send a New Year video to our agents. We have a holiday card that's going out this year, and we couldn't get together and take a huge team photo. So what we did is we have one of our mornings, we have Zoom, and we have, imagine 20 people on the screen right now. I just literally screenshotted the screen, and that's going to be our Christmas card. Kind of funny, right? Because it's Zoom, right? That's going out. That's 4 touches, I think. Our agents have to call these people, and so do I. So that's 5 touches, right? And I think 1 or 2 more that we're doing as well. But we're from Thanksgiving to Christmas and New Year's, we have about 5 or 7 touches that go out. 1 is a phone call, multiple are email, and then there's actual card that's a holiday card mailed to their house. And the biggest thing that you guys and what we do actually this time of the year, there's no better time, no better quarter than the 4th quarter to speak to your friends, family, and past clients, in my opinion. And the one script that we use internally, we call it our planning the year script. And it goes something like this, right? And ring, ring. Hey, John, it's Fred Said. How are you? Awesome. You got a second? Great. Hey, listen, we're planning out, the next year of our business and our lives. And I wanted to give you a call. And I just wanted to see over the next 13 to 15 months, what are your real estate related goals? Awesome. You're thinking about buying an investment property? Beautiful. Was it okay if we set up a time to just do a Zoom call maybe next month or in January or whenever you're ready so we can talk about what it looks like to get you an investment property? Awesome. Perfect. And then last question before I let you go, who do you know that I should know that's thinking about buying or selling a home in this market? Because you got to realize something. I don't know about you guys, but I have multiple businesses that I own. I own a property management company, the real estate team, investment business that we have. Everything is being business planned. But last time I checked, my wife and I are planning our trips next year as well. Everybody's doing some sort of planning at this time of the year for the following year. That's human, natural things that we do. So why not ask the question and interject yourself in that conversation and see if you can be a part of their plan? So that's in a nutshell, the touches that we do, the way that we're doing them, and the conversations that we're having as well. And whether you're a brand new agent starting right now, at minimum, you can pick up the phone, have that script, have that conversation, and ask for the business. Awesome. It's important.
Awesome.
Right?
What about you, Jordan? What differences are you doing the same thing, or what are you doing to keep your clients engaged and you engaged into business going obviously into 2021?
Like the 33 Touch, we have a, just a CRM that automated emails, texts, calling. Every quarter, I do touch my past clients, right? And during holidays, I'm going to be sending them a pie, right, for Thanksgiving, and also send them like some sort of Christmas gift. And yeah, if there's another shutdown, it'll be a great gift. Some board games. I got that from one of my coworkers. He's sending board games to all the past clients.
good.
That's amazing because they're gonna think of you when they're playing that board game, right?
How about the board game life? So,
What activities, business? Yeah, I just touch my database, once a quarter. I call them, say how you're doing. You have any family or friends thinking of selling or buying this year? And that's about it. If there's anything I can help you with, let me know. Did anything break at your house? If so, call Home Warranty. Home Warranty is great because I always get the premium package for my clients, and they'll love you when they only spend $50 for the inspection versus $2,000-$3,000 to get their AC fixed, right? Little items like that. Just being in touch with them so they don't forget about us. Right?
love it. What about you, Cheryl? What do you do to engage your
It's
clients?
sad because I've always done Popeyes, and won't be able to do that this year. And we had a phenomenal Christmas party last year for all our clients. Won't be able to do that this year. So, and I keep it. A lot of my clients, we've become friends. I have so many cool clients that every time they get something from another realtor, they send it to me. They're like, look, it just cracks me up that they do that for me. So there's a lot of them I'm just always in touch with anyway. They text, they email, they call me. So I'm fortunate to have that. I have a list of my top 50 clients. I'm sending them this really great magazine, American Lifestyle Magazine. I'm sending them all the Christmas edition of that. It's full of recipes and great articles. But I'm still trying to think, I'm just so used to physically being with them. It's like, how are we going to do this? Because I'm in touch anyway, so it's not like I'm going to call them all. I'm talking to them all anyway. So other than the magazine, I don't know. I'm still looking for what else can I do?
One of the things I've been actually doing, just as putting together as training, is obviously we have November, December, January for sure. Is I've been sending out through Command, through our smart plans, is like Thanksgiving, the best way to carve a turkey. Halloween, I did the best carvings. Obviously for Christmas, the best gifts for your wife, or or the best gifts for your husband. Stuff like that. And it's just more ideas and creative on the creative process. And I remember, when I was really active in production, I even did recipe cards. Any of you guys do recipe cards back in the days? So I did recipe cards, and amazingly, I had some really, really good response with that, which I didn't think I would ever get, again, a response on a recipe card. But I would get yelled at if they didn't get their recipe card. After like 6 months, they're like, "Where's my recipe card? I've been trying these things; they're really good." And so it's just being creative and being out of the box thinking sometimes when we're actually trying to keep in touch with our clients. So, hey, but last but not least, as we start winding down, and I really appreciate all you guys' time. If you had one piece of advice for an agent that is new or doing 4 to 6 transactions, what would that be? I mean, what would you say to a new agent or somebody that's again doing 4 to 6 transactions that maybe want to jump, and want to do more transactions? What would be that one piece of advice that you would give, Fred?
Have a plan and do the activity. That's the simplest version. So the plan is literally a business plan, also known as, in our world, called a 135, and then also what's called a 411. If you don't know what that is, talk to your productivity coach, talk to your leader, talk to your broker. But you want to have your own 135, and you also want to have what's called a 411. That's literally a plan to follow every single week, every single month, and every single year to hit whatever goal that you want to hit, right? Along with that, though, units are great because that's what creates everything. But you guys all have to have some sort of a net income goal, also known as profit. And then that's the ultimate goal, right? Because that's what you're going to fund your life with, your investments, you're paying off your debt, saving your money, whatever that is. And then that equates at the top level to how many homes you have to sell to trickle down to what you're going to be left with, right? And I think number 2, activity. That's it. If you're a brand new agent or newer, I mean, I've hired 10 agents in the past 90 days in our team in OC and LA. All are brand new, right? We have a great brand new agent program that gets people in production fairly quickly and then sustains it over time, right? But I think the biggest thing that I've learned over the years of training for KW and all that fun stuff is that there's so many things you can do in 2020 from a lead generation standpoint. It's like a deer in the headlights when you're a brand new agent. That's the sad part, is people overthink it, right? And they don't actually do the activity. I'm a combination of just get a little bit of book smarts down and then go street smarts and figure it out, fail forward, come back and learn, go back, come back and learn, go, come back. 12 months later, it's like, damn, I just sold 13 homes. Or Jordan, I just sold 18 in my first 12 months, right? So that's, Jordan's a really beautiful example of somebody being newer in their first 12 months, having an idea of what to do, but just saying, you know what, I'm going to go door knock. Because that's what my mentors told me to do. I'm going to just go do it. And literally, I sold 18 homes and then catapult, right?
I love it.
So,
I love it. Thanks, Fred. What about you, Jordan? I mean, obviously 3 years into the business, what's the one thing that you would one piece of advice you'd give to a new agent or an agent that's doing 4 to 6 transactions that wants to do more?
One advice, what would that be? I was thinking about this question a lot. One advice would be, wow, it's tricky. Just go out and do it. Just go ahead and do it. Just make your 20 contacts, 30 contacts, whatever contacts it is, and set up one appointment a day. It doesn't matter if you're meeting a buyer, a seller, a family member that's thinking of selling or buying, a friend, but just go out there and meet somebody, right? Whether it's door knocking or I have agents that door knock till this day wearing masks and gloves. So just go out and do it. Don't overthink it. Overthink it kills everything. Oh, I'm a new agent. Oh, I don't have experience. Well, what do I say? Who cares? Just go and do it and figure it out later. What is it? Like ready, fire, aim. I love that saying. Right? You never know where life is going to take you. Right? Like I was looking for. Oh my goodness.
crazy, right?
Crazy. That's life, shoot first, ask later, right? And just go out and do it because you never know. Like I'll tell you a quick story. Like as a new agent, I was asking my family for business, and you know what they told me? You have no experience. Go out and get some experience and then come back to me. So I did that. I did my 18 homes and I said, Uncle, I have experience now. Do you have any clients for me? He referred me a buyer, like a $1 million buyer. It turned out that $1 million buyer was a $4 million listing. Okay, we closed at 3.7, double end, and we bought them a $1 million house in Irvine. So you never know where it's gonna take you. Just go out and do it. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just go out and do it and be positive, be present, be persistent, be patient, and just love one another, right? Genuinely, sincerely. It'll take you a long way when you're genuine and sincere, right? Because everybody can sense when you're a salesperson. When you have motives, people can sense that, right? So you just want to go out there and be genuine, be yourself, and yeah.
I love it. I love it. What about you, Cheryl? What's your one final piece of advice to a new agent or someone that's doing 4 to 6 transactions that wants to do more?
Going to top agent panels. I mean, I've always been big on what are other agents doing. I mean, that's why I joined Keller Williams, because it was so open instead of this competition of not telling people. You could learn from other agents, and I love that. And then I think the other thing is I'm a firm believer of a vision board. You need a reason, you need your big why. I did a vision board early in my career. I wrote myself a check for $1 million. That's right. I still have this board. It's right in the middle. I got my $1 million. I got everything on my board except there was this vacation home up in the corner that I had cut out, and I wanted a, a vacation home in Lake Arrowhead. And so I decided that was going to be my profit share house. So I was going to recruit and earn enough profit share to get that house. And I did. And ironically, my profit share was getting $1,100 a month. Found the house and I said, how much do I have to put down so that my monthly payment will be $1,100 a month? So that's what I did. So that's
So,
sure. I bought that 4 years ago. So I think having those goals, but the visual thing for me to be able to check everything off my vision board that I got. The only problem is once I got the house, that was the last thing. It's like, now what? Gary said, put a new board together, but now it's more retirement. I want to be able to retire comfortably. So having that reason, you got to have a reason behind it, because you're not going to go out, you're not going to work as hard as I do unless you've got a reason to do it. So I think that's, what is your big why? Make a vision board and accomplish your goals.
Awesome. Again, thanks, guys. I got one final question just for curiosity's sake. Actually, it's a two-part. One, do you have a coach, and have you had a coach throughout your career? One, and then number two, do you guys do scripts or script role playing, and have you done it throughout your career? Fred.
we role play every single morning, 9 a.m. to 9:30. We call power-ups. All of our teams, all 60 plus teams across North America, we do the same thing every single day. Role play. Number two, coach. Yes, I've had multiple coaches in my career. Right now, I have Ben Kinney, Chris Suarez, and a couple other people as well. So our coaching is kind of on overdrive. So the answer is yes. I always have a mentor, always have a coach. I was mentioning Chris. Nina Heller is Chris's wife, and she's almost my stress management and mindset coach and health coach every day. So I have a coach in almost every aspect of my life. So yes, got to have some mentors, got to have some guidance, and you got to be humble like Jordan is, right? And what we talked about. And obviously Cheryl and I have been in for a minute, so we've had no choice but to be humble. Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to grow.
Absolutely. What about you, Jordan? So you've been in this business for 3 years, and so do you currently have a coach, and did you have a coach when you started?
When I started, I did not have a coach. My second year, I decided to go with Mike Ferry, right? Because I've been using all their scripts for free. Might as well just hire the real deal, right? And the coach itself is going to hold you accountable, and you check in with them on a weekly basis. So number one, I do have a coach, Mike Ferry Organization. Second is the scripts, role play. I practice the scripts, role play religiously. I would say every other day, not every day like Fred, but every other day. Role play, whether it's just anything in general, right? Because we have LP Mama, Ford, Expired, FISBO, all of that good stuff. And yeah, what else did you say? Coach and script practice.
Coach and script practice, yep. You do it, and you do well. So awesome. What about you, Cheryl?
When I started out, I had some amazing mentors, and then I joined Tom Ferry. And then I felt like I outgrew Tom Ferry, which was what drew me to Keller Williams, which I think is just, a big step above the Ferry organization. And I've always had a coach. So right now I have group coaching, and then I meet with Eric once a week as well. So.
Awesome. Again, thank you guys very much for your time. I know you guys are all busy, and to take the hour out to give feedback. I'm going to definitely send this out to all you guys, and hope the people that are watching this and that are going to watch it will learn something. And again, I appreciate all your guys' time, and hope you guys have a fantastic week.
Likewise. Bye, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Nice meeting you guys.